Today I'm joined by Brinley Hassan, the radio voice for the CPCA, and she is here today to talk about the races that just took place at Wainwright Stampede this past weekend and the upcoming races that will be in Onion Lake. And so thank you so much for being with me today, Brinley.
Hey Thomas, thanks for having me.
And so Brinley, it was a fantastic weekend, lots of sun. How was the Wainwright Stampede and all those CPCA races that took place there?
I mean, they really put on a fantastic show down there in Wainwright between the pro rodeo, the midway, and the wagons being there. There's definitely a lot happening. As far as the races went, it was just a fantastic weekend. We had some really neck-to-neck competition that kept things interesting between Ryan Baptiste and Logan Gorst. Unfortunately for Ryan, Logan kind of edged him out that last day, and he ended up winning by 0.06 of a second, which, I mean, it just goes to show how tight these races were.
And so with Logan Gorst winning Wainwright, that means that he has been in the top 2 of the first 3 shows of the CPCA season. What has led to his dominance so far to start out the season?
I mean, yeah, he's won 2 out of 3 shows now, so it's definitely a great start for him. He is just all business. You look at the team that he has in front of his wagon, and I mean, just incredible horsepower and then fantastic driving on his behalf. He gets to that top barrel and he can really turn these horses on a dime, and that sets him ahead of all the other competition because he's out on the track when these guys are still barreling.
And you mentioned that Ryan Baptiste was up there in the aggregate at Wainwright. Who are some other drivers that did really well at Wainwright and are starting to get their feet under them as the season begins to get into the middle part of the year?
It was actually a really fun kind of shakeup that we saw in Wainwright. We had Colby Stanley take 3rd in the aggregate, followed by Brad McMahon and Amber LaRue. And that's a little bit different compared to kind of the guys that we usually see in that top 5. So I'm sure they're very happy walking away from this weekend. Colby's kind of still at the beginning end of his career in the driver's box. He's been driving for a couple years now, but it really takes a long time to put together a couple cohesive outfits that run well together. Brad's making his return back to the CPCA from the other association. He ran there last year, so I'm sure he's feeling happy too. And Amber, I think this is kind of a first for her career to be finishing so high up, a top 5 finish in the aggregate. So I talked to her the last day and she was definitely really pleased with that performance as well.
And so next up on the CPCA Tour is Onion Lake. Last year they got hit by some really hard rains, but this year hopefully it'll be a much nicer weekend for them for this Canada Day long weekend.
What we just were at in Wainwright, it's quite a shorter track compared to what we have in Onion Lake. Onion Lake is a longer track, and it really stands to show, yes, these guys might have the speed and the horsepower coming out of the barrels, but do they have the stamina to make it in front of everyone in front of, like, on that longer track? We raced 3 days there, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all at 6:30 p.m. And Onion Lake is another spot where they put on a great show. They have really nice facilities there, a nice grandstand, and they have pony chuck wagons and chariots going on all weekend as well. They have some foot races, all sorts of things going on. I know that they also have fireworks and that kind of thing on Monday, unfortunately after the races are already gone, but they put on a really nice show for Canada Day weekend.
Thank you so much for all the information today, Brinley, and we definitely look forward to another fantastic set of races at Onion Lake this weekend.
Thanks so much for having me. I hope to see you guys at the races.